With Tuesday's update, a huge controversial subject has arrived, and that is Iron Man boosting with main accounts. Granted, this has always been a thing, except instead of main real accounts, people were just buying and selling kills, and there was also services where you give them your username and login, and they will do bosses for you at a set amount of time. An example was you pay 10 mil cash and they will do barrels for 1 hour straight, and you will get every single drop. Granted, you do have to give them your password and username and all of that, but I'll be going over why I think it was a good thing that Iron could play with main accounts. And yes, I do have an Iron account that I've been playing for almost 2 years, so I do have a bit of experience and issues that I have ran into so many times. First off, finding dual partners or even like people in general for Rots, Cowfight King, Duel, Elite Dungeon 2 and 3, and then keep in mind, I can actually do ED2, but it takes me 1 hour and 18 minutes on average, which, yeah, that's gonna be forever because I don't have Armadillo gear, as you did see in my pink just now. And then for Rots, a lot of people, they don't really like to do that boss because when you die, you have to get your Nihil pouch, and that costs GP for an iron, which is a lot harder now thanks to the Elite Dungeon 3 nerf that we did get a couple months ago. And no matter how skilled you are at Rots, you can still die. And yes, I know you could camp the luck, you could still camp the Ring of Death as well. And then you're pretty much required to have an EOF Dark Ball to even do and get invited in Rots teams, which I have found to be like a very, very time-gated content, as you actually have to do elite clues. And then another good example is with PVM'ing with main accounts. It does allow you to progress your account a little bit quicker than normal, as the most biggest issue of Iron is you do have to solo, which yes, it is intended, but if you want to PVM with friends and stuff, Iron Man is not the mode for you to be doing. And then it could help for some Gobbler Dungeon 2 content, as Vindy does take about 3 minutes to kill, and then if you have a duo partner, it takes half that time or even less because it's just so much extra damage you are able to do. And then another issue is people are going to say, oh, what happens if I'm doing 7-man AOD with an iron and he gets appraisal 1? He's like, of course I want that split. Honestly, I don't think that will ever be the case because I'm pretty sure that Iron will easily be able to find other AOD teams. Granted, he's already doing 7-man teams, which means he has the DPS and the gear to be able to successfully do the AOD consecutively. And then, of course, there is mass friends chats for Virago, Calfight King, and AOD, so I have been seeing a lot of low-level Irons and Hardcore Iron Man actually at AOD, and so far no one has gotten a wand drop, which would be a massive boost to the account, because again, they're using Gothic stuff, and boom, they get a tier 92 wand. That would be just so game breaking. And then there was already leeching, like I did say earlier, and that's mostly with, I don't want to say content creators for like YouTube platform, but mostly for the Twitch. And that would have to be Sick Nerd, Wazzy XD, who massively boosted his iron. He was able to do Rots, Virago, and he basically almost had 99 magic within 10 days of starting the account because his viewers want to get him to the end game content as soon as possible so that he'll be able to give good content, because a lot of people did not like him doing the beginning tier mode of the iron because it is extremely grindy. So he did get boosted a ton by that. And then one more thing is that the iron community is extremely small. And what I mean by that is people are looking for specific requirements and gear before you even do the boss. And a great example would have to be for Nex. I did do about 37 hours of Wilderness Slayer for the Decimation Bow, but they want me to have Twin Fury gear for that, which I was like, okay, I can do that. I went over 17 hours dry, and then I finally got 1 out of the 3 cresses. And they're like, nope, I'm sorry, you have to get all 3 cresses for us to even consider taking you to Next, because they don't want me to hard leech using full Armadyl gear, which, I mean, that's pretty lengthy, and I mean, I do have some bad RNG right there, so I mean, maybe people would have gotten 3 cresses by now, but that's pretty much my only issue right now, is that they want me to have tier 80 armor, which I have been putting the hours in. It's just RNG has not been on my side. And then to wrap up the video, I will say that the end game PVM mode for Iron Man, it's not friendly for solo only. And what I mean by that is because Croasis, yes, you can solo it, but no one in the world is going to do that as an Iron or even a main account, because it does take about 12 to 17 minutes on average to solo it, whereas you can just do like a 4 or 8 man team and you'll be able to finish it in under 4 minutes easily. But that's pretty much, in my opinion, kind of like the Iron Man boosting already, that people were already cheating for the Croesus drops, because, and honestly, it's broken money. The armor is massively broken, it needs to be nerfed, and it gives you a lot of raw GP, including Onyxes, which you can hide out as well. And as soon as you start an account, you can automatically do Croesus, and there was, well, I did discover a way that you can AFK Croesus, and I'll probably do a guide later about that, although I know when I did previously do a leeching, as in you just avoid the game mechanics and you still end up getting the same amount of points as if you were gathering the materials in a mass public world, because just how crazy an amount of people there is that it's not worth collecting the materials for that. And then one last thing I did forget to mention is actually raids. Finding people to do Beastmaster is incredibly hard, and that's mostly because, I mean, you need to do a lot of Croesus to tank the Beastmaster, and then afterwards, no one in the world does Yakamaru because it's just simply too long of a fight, and it requires a lot of DPS, which I almost got a Yakamaru kill, but the fight was 14 minutes long, and then we were just about getting to the Mirage face, which I was pretty much the only person under geared because I have a Decimation Bow tier 87 and Armadyl armor. Everyone else was pretty much Nex and plus, and yet it was still a 14-minute kill, which now that we can bring a main account, we could easily drop that down because they could just buy EOS, buy max gear and stuff. So it is good in the long run for iron accounts, mostly to kind of boost a little bit, unless they like massively leech it, to get to close to the end game for the iron, where they can start doing group PVM with other irons, because I don't think a lot of people will be doing, again, 7-man AOD with an iron or Virago trio and duo mode, because at that point they should be able to do it themselves to find a team where they'll be able to do it. With that, thank you all so much for listening to my reasons on why the Iron Man was a good thing being allowed to PVM with main accounts. Thank you all so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.